Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to NJPW Puroresu Review. I am your co-host, Andre C. Right over here is my co-host, Melball. How you doing today, Melball?
Hey, I am doing good, man. As you can see, I am ready for the gym after this recording. It is a happy 420 day. We're going to be going to the gym. We're going to be scooting our booty. Well, I'm going to be scooting my booty. I don't know what you're doing for your gym session today.
I gotta go to work after this, so no gym for me today. Gym tomorrow night. That's where I'm heading. But
hey, yeah. Cardio at work though, right? You're on your feet all day, technically doing something, right? It works.
Sure.
Works.
Yeah, I'm on my feet all day. It doesn't feel like.
And we have some amazing wrestling to get into today, man. 2 days of shows that took me 5 days to watch. Oh man, what a weekend, hey?
Yeah, amazing weekend. I got all mine done in about 2 days. It took me to watch. I watch usually these shows in about a day. So amazing wrestling. NJPW puts on great content. NJPW. This is the NJPW of America shows we're going to be talking about. Capital Collision and Collision in Philadelphia. The only issue I have with NJPW of America is the production value.
Yeah.
The camera quality, even when you're watching, I watched the copy we watched was a 540p copy, so it wasn't the greatest resolution. But that was just the copy we got. But even when I've watched shows in the past at 1080p, the cameras seem a little wonky. The camera coverage seems wonky. The audio on a lot of these shows comes through really poorly.
Yeah.
Both the first night you could barely hear Ian Riccaboni. Where you could hear Veda, but you could hear mainly Alex Kozlov, the one person we don't want to hear.
Yeah, poor choices were made, and who was given what microphone. Both nights. Also, I noticed the second night, Veda was, kind of fading in and out, where it's she was louder when she wasn't talking, when she was kind of going, yeah, doing the kind of agreeing things, and then when she actually was trying to give her opinion, it was like she got muted and she was having to scream it into her microphone for us to get the point across.
Yeah, on the second night, at least Riccaboni seemed louder on the second night.
Correct.
His audio did come through a lot louder, but both nights Kozlov had the loudest mic of the three. And it was just why does he have to be the loudest one? Why can't he be the one quiet like Riccaboni and Riccaboni? They should have traded mics on night one. Is what should have happened, but
100%.
And big highlight was Veda Scott. I loved hearing from her because she's a wonderful commentator. I actually got to listen. I got to see her wrestle here last year with Love Wrestling, and then I watched the Twitch stream back just to hear her do commentary because after her match, she came and joined Boris on commentary, and I listened back to. She's absolutely phenomenal, and it's great to hear a different voice in there doing that. I really hope that New Japan America goes forward using her, and I really hope New Japan invests in her. Hire her to maybe cover Stardom, maybe. I don't know. Hire her for she's a great voice in there, and I would love to hear maybe a Kevin Kelly or Chris Charlton teaming up with a Veda Scott or another female announcer, maybe a Kim Peterson, to call some Stardom. That's what I would really enjoy. But again, we'll see what comes from it.
I mean, anything to get Kozlov out of there, man. Although I will say, having the addition of Veda actually made him almost seemingly have more emotion than he usually does have. So he was actually more, what's the word? Would jovious be the right word? He was more excited.
Jovial, yeah. He was kind of jovial. Yeah.
He was excited. He had energy. He had more energy than he usually does with just Kevin Kelly or I always forget his name.
Ian
How do you say his name?
Ian Riccaboni.
Riccaboni. Okay, Riccaboni or Matt. Yeah. Those two have really great chemistry. It's just when you throw in Kozlov there, sometimes he's kind of like that little short kid that no one really likes to acknowledge when they're talking in the schoolyard. He's like, I'm on the team too. Yeah, we wanted to forget.
Yeah, but I did enjoy listening to Veda Scott and what I heard of Ian Riccaboni. Again, he was having issues with the audio. I really did enjoy listening to him. It's just I wish I wish NJPW America could figure it out, because the only show in this past year that NJPW America has had a good quality show with audio, video, and everything was their co-production with Impact.
Maybe this is an issue that NJPW needs to get some of their people from production in Japan over into America for a little bit, just to train some people to like in America to be like, this is what the quality of NJPW is. It does kind of almost look a little unprofessional to have NJPW and NJPW Strong being the same company, but they're having two completely different production values, especially when Stardom is now a part of that same cluster, and we haven't seen that same dip in quality.
Yeah. Or it's a big plus to this, hire Impact to do your production side. Hire Scott D'Amore and his team to run your production in America, because I guarantee you they run their weekends and then they run a taping after and they don't run again. I guarantee you that the people that work for Impact would love to use the extra money and go work a production taping, because you could, and that would also give, maybe you can bring a few Impact people in because of it. You can give some, you can again create some crossover, create more. You already have Impact people that show up on these shows, so why not use a relationship to get a good, and you get a good production team out of it. The fact that, again, not that they're a bad production team, it's just there's hiccups on every solely New Japan America produced show. I have not seen one that has been successful so far that has been good across the board. Again, the video quality was on our end because we watched it from an alternative source that only had a 540p video quality that we could watch. So I won't blame video quality, because it from what I've heard, 1080p beautiful video quality for if you get it through Fight or through if you watch it on New Japan World. The quality is much higher if you want to watch it in Japanese. It's just the one we watched, the video quality stuff. That's due to us choosing to use alternative sources on this show.
Us. Like, this was a decision I made. Like, I know anything freaking technical. Give me a break.
But production side aside, this was an incredible show. Like the wrestling, two incredible nights of professional wrestling. We started off with the Saturday's Capital Collision from April 15th. Kick it off with a pre-show match. You know it. Big Teats, Shane Haste, TMDK taking on the West Coast Wrecking Crew, baby. I love those guys. I'm a big West Coast Wrecking Crew fan, but I'm an even bigger TMDK fan, man. This is a fun match. There was a spot where Isaac pulls Haste through the ropes to the outside into a suplex on the outside, but how he pulled them through the ropes, like Haste was like leaning on the ropes, head through, and he grabbed the suplex there and just yanked them through and up. The way he did it, I was just it seemed different. I was like, oh, I really like the way he did that. Yeah, and it was a fun match. Haste goes up for a drop kick at one point, and Jorel Nelson grabs him and brings him down into a backbreaker. Oh, like when you can interrupt in the middle of of a move like that, it's just that much more impressive when you do something like that. It just looks so good. Big Teats, that beautiful blockbuster off the second rope to Royce Isaacs. Oh, I didn't know Big Teats could fly like that. Oh, he's pretty good.
Flying Teats.
Flying Teats, man.
I actually had that written down. I had Big Teats, Flying Teats, Little Teats, Big Teats, Big Teats, Teated. Yeah. And boy, did he teat all over this match. My goodness, every time he got into the ring, it was just dominant. This was a fun opener. This was a power match, 100%. Each of these teams fighting for dominance in this. And these guys have been spatting a hot minute, too. They really don't seem to like each other. And them not liking each other has made for some incredible wrestling matches. I look forward to seeing these guys, take on each other again. Hopefully one day for those NJPW Strong titles, maybe getting in there with some of the people that we'll talk about later in the show.
Yeah, we'll get to a TMDK what they're challenging for later on after we talk about the second night of this show. I'm going to highlight that for dang sure. But they went at the end of this match. Tito hit a TKO to Issac. Or it was called a TKO, but it looked more like an F5. But they called it a TKO.
So I'm gonna Tito.
Oh, Tito KO. Okay, that makes more sense to me. Again, the audio wasn't great on the commentary.
That's what I'm calling it. That's not what it's officially called. That's just what I'm calling it.
I'm gonna go with it. I like it. It's a Tito KO. But yeah, Tito, he gets the win. Big Tate's getting that win, baby. I love it. TMDK pick up the win. Shows the commentary team because this is on the pre-show. Riccaboni, beautiful suit. Veda all dressed up, looking nice, and then Kozlov sitting there in a freaking t-shirt and jeans, looking just like I just showed up here from hanging out with my friends. Like, you got two people dressed up to the nines. Veda Scott looking all, got the blouse on, looking all good, hair done up, makeup done up, and you got Riccaboni looking all fly with the suit. And you got Kozlov just like it's just who Kozlov is, I guess. He's just
you know what? It's commentary. And even if it is what it is that he usually does, I mean, look at Jerry Lawlor. Jerry Lawlor did it for years too. But Jerry Lawlor had the gimmick behind it also.
Yeah.
He was the king. He had his crown. He was still wearing his tights and a t-shirt.
But that's so, like, that's you would seen him in his entire career. If Kozlov was wearing his furry jacket, his trunks, and his hat, I wouldn't bat an eye because that's his gimmick. That's who he was. But like Jerry Lawlor,
they are on the East Coast. It might have been a little warm for them right now this time of year, but like still, like I agree. It would have been nice to see a gimmick on him because he absolutely did look underwhelming in comparison. Yeah. It's like if your voice is already underwhelming and something that people are complaining about, please step it up somewhere.
Yeah. So we move on to the main card, and that opening video before them, like the video that played about the show, they did some like New Japan where it just highlighted a bunch of New Japan stuff in general, and the old school music that was over that video was absolutely like you felt like very like 80s, 70s professional wrestling in general. I loved it so much. Great throwback.
Oh, same. It was a great little montage video. Really, really great way to start off the show. 100%.
Yeah. So we get into the first match on the pay-per-view itself. It's a 10-man tag team match. Gabriel Kidd, the Jet Setters, as they're officially known now, Kevin Knight, Kushida, Mike Bailey, and Volador Jr. I had a way better name in the Knights of Time. Come on.
Yeah, you really did. Yeah.
I tweeted it to them too. So, and then you have versus the team of Chaos's Chuck Taylor, Lio Rush, Rocky Romero, along with Clark Connors and the DKC. Gabriel Kidd cutting a promo to kick it all off. Gotta love Gabriel Kidd. Love him in his promos. But like I loved him on night 2, and we'll get into how he played on night 2. But, yeah, Connors and Kidd's just the strike and chop exchanges from these two. Just like again, both they train together. They know each other, so they're just crashing. And then the DKC and Bailey trading kicks. Like DKC, it's a very similar gimmick to Mike Bailey. That is the thing. Like they have a very similar gimmick, and they're both like martial arts guys. And Bailey dropping DKC and getting the speed, and then getting the speed kicks and the enziguri. Again, I really like showing that DKC's newer. He's just come out of training, all that kind of stuff, and showing that Bailey is the more dominant presence made sense to me in there. Although I've been very critical of karate chops in the past. But when DKC pulls somebody over like almost like a Blade Runner and then just does the chops into the neck, it actually looks pretty darn good because where they're chopping, you're chopping into this area where you want to actually strike. Instead of strike them in the back between the shoulder blades, like
strike them in the titties or something.
Strike them here, like, and then when he does his chops, like he's coming down karate chops up into his chops, and I really do like the way he does his chops because it's original, it's different the way he does it. I really do like that. A couple more highlights: beautiful standing Spanish fly from Lio Rush to Kevin Knight, which I was like the height difference on that just to hit it was like, okay. But in the end, there was a huge springboard cross by Kevin Knight, then a super kick by Volador Jr., the palm strike by Kushida, and the backstabber by Volador Jr., also Rocky Romero. And Volador Jr. picks up the win on his heated rival, Rocky Romero. Gets the win.
I mean, that's what happens when you get in there with Volador Jr., man. Like, that is a Mexican. That man, he is such a great wrestler. I have been just infatuated with him since I've seen him pop up in NJPW years ago. Really interesting note that Lio Rush felt a little, I don't want to say pushed to the side, but in comparison, I definitely felt that he wasn't a highlight in this one, which is okay. He's had a lot of highlight over the last couple months, and it allowed DKC and Rocky Romero to kind of have that spotlight for a little bit. Mercifully, like I like Chuck Taylor as a character. I'm not a terribly big fan of his wrestling, so I was kind of happy with his involvement in this match. Gabe Kidd, man, I'm not gonna lie, he's been on a roll this year, just consistently working, consistently putting out really, really great matches. He hasn't been on a tremendously high like winning streak. But let's be honest, the kid's making a name for himself, and like, my goodness, is he ever doing well? I can't wait to talk about the promo that he cut for the second night of this. Absolutely amazing. But yeah, this was a fun match. The ending really took me by surprise after the ending with our good friend, trusted cowboy colleague, and Fabio 2.0. Mr. Clark Connors, Mr. Flying Booty Rhino himself, turning on DKC, and like, he beat the holy heckin' shit out of him. Like, there's beatdowns, and then there's like attempted murders.
Molly,
this was borderline. He was pissed.
Yeah, and I just looked at it like, I'm like, okay, let's see where this goes. And then we saw where it went later in the night. I'm like, fuck. Like, and then we saw what happened in Philly, and I'm like, even more because I'm cool with somebody
what happened?
I'm cool with somebody wanting to turn heel, change over the character. That is perfectly fine. But when you take away everything that their character is about, except for their finisher, which we saw on the second night, that's where I go, we'll get more into that on the second night. But I was excited to see where this turn went, and then we saw where it went, and I was just like, God damn it. But we are going to move on, to the next match. It's AR Fox versus David Finlay. Again, I'm not insanely familiar with AR Fox. I've seen him a handful of matches. He's worked AEW, and I think he worked Lucha Underground. I'm not sure. Again, I didn't watch much of that. He's a very, very good professional wrestler. David Finlay, though, Jesus Christ, this crowd was hating on him.
Well, I wonder why.
Like, he's done a good job. Like, he is.
Yeah, but he's a heel, and he comes out here saying he hates the crowd. Obviously, the crowd's not going to be like, but we love you.
But as soon as he walked through the curtain, they were booing him.
No.
Like, he didn't have to say a word, and they were already booing him. Like, he's gotten over as a heel so well, so quickly. Like, I think turning on attacking Jay White was the best thing he could have ever done, because Jay White was so beloved at that point. When he took him down, that crowd hated him, and they're not going to stop hating him. And
100%, 100%.
So I gotta give a big shout out to AR Fox with his Brazilian lap dance in this match.
Yes,
it wasn't a full Brazilian lap dance. He didn't pull him into the ass, but he had him up there, and he had him close, and I'm like, oh my God, Taguchi, baby! Oh, that was, I had to bring that up. I had to steal it. I said it before you, because damn, I love that spot.
Hey, and you remembered it. I mean, that's the one move that you always forget the name of, and you remembered it.
I'll never forget it. And then right after that, he hits a second rope cutter. Beautiful hop jumping second rope cutter. Oh, like the Brazilian lap dance into a second rope cutter. I love the combo. Taguchi, look him doing this, man. Come on. And then this guy has like a few moves into a cutter. Like, he had a snapmare roll, roll through, and then a jump up into another cutter. This guy's got cutters for days, man. Finlay, though, he was just brutal in this match. When he was striking, when he was hitting, he everything he was doing was just vicious, man. One other Oh, sorry.
no,
One more on Fox. When he went and came through, it was really early. He came through the ropes, kind of like it was like when Miz goes through the ropes with the lariat in the corner.
Oh yeah.
And then Finlay dropped. He slid out, skimmed the cat back into its own kind of version of combination, like kind of flipping back into but the skin the cat back into the drop kick was insanely impressive.
Yes. I called that a combination Air Fox.
Yes. Oh God. I want NJPW of America to feature this guy more. I want AEW to feature this guy more because I think this guy is insanely talented. I just haven't seen a lot of him, and what I've seen him on AEW, he's been very good, but he's really shined here in a singles contest.
Yeah. This match, I don't have a ton to add to this. This was a great showcase for Fox. This was my first time kind of seeing him because I don't watch AEW. And I'm not too privy to keeping up on a lot of stuff on the indies. But holy hot diggity damn, this guy impressed me with this being his first match that I've ever seen. I mean, you could just see it from the pictures. The guy is an athlete. He's absolutely shredded. But coming into this match with David, man, this was both of these men very confident, very comfortable in the ring and what it is that they were doing. You know, AR Fox being very acrobatic, doing everything he can. He almost reminded me of like Will Ospreay when Will Ospreay had first come back with all of that size and was still performing aerials while transitioning into that kind of striking that he is now. And David Finlay, like as you mentioned, like so cool as a cucumber in there, very comfortable in his ring and very comfortable with the heel mentality that he has kind of created here. You're absolutely right. The crowd hated him. From the instant he walked out the curtain to the instant he left, he was being booed. And let me tell you, perfect heel work from David Finlay interacting with the crowd. Normally the heels, they'll just walk out, do their shit and leave. He was in people's faces. He was interacting with children. There was that little one that was, I think it was this night, that was dressed up like Orange Cassidy, or was that tomorrow?
No, the second night.
Okay, well, he was getting in everyone's faces. I absolutely loved it because I've mentioned it to you in the past, specifically with a heel faction that I really don't think are very good people, but they did do the heel thing around the ring, like at intermission, very smartly. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about locally, the League of Losers. They did the exact same thing, and it was something, even though I hated the guys, it was something that they did very well to keep the crowd interested and interacted, because even though their matches were garbage, that interaction made them interesting and made them something to want to come and see again, because fans want that interaction. We want that experience, even if it is David Finlay staring menacingly at your face. It's an experience, and it's a one-of-a-kind experience that the fans love to have. Holy hot duty, man, though. This match was freaking crazy at the end there. I felt Finlay went a little savage as the match was winding down.
Well, yeah, Finlay hits like an inverted DDT into like a stunner.
And
like flips him into a stunner, followed by this like sick, like hard lariat. Only gets two. So Finlay picks him up, drops him on his head into the trash panda, and like drops him on his head into the name of the trash panda, gets the win, and just like, dude, like this guy has been just dominant as hell.
What a pin. It was mean. It was nasty. It was arrogant, and I loved it. I love this turn for Finlay, and I'm gonna love hating him.
I always liked Finlay as a character. I found him fun, but he was never overly like interesting. But now, like, I want to feature. I want to see him more, and it's getting interesting. And then after the match, Finlay gets some, like, he says, DC sucks, as heels going to do that. Calls out Clark's Connors. He calls out New Japan and Shibata specifically for not giving Connors the opportunities that he deserves in reality. Like, I think the most high profile thing he's done was the AEW I guess it was All Atlantic at the time title, but the international title last year at Forbidden Door, and that was only because I think Ishii got taken out of the match. If somebody was hurt and got taken out of the match, he was put in there.
Who did he just face at Battle of the Valley? Was it Zack?
Yeah, no, but yeah, Sabre. But I'm saying, other than like, okay, sorry, Sabre, and then that match a year ago. That's really the most high-profile things he's done. And yeah, so right, he's not been given great opportunities. And then Finlay says he's looking for savages and that can win championships. And then he says that Connors is officially now a member of the Bullet Club. And I went, okay, let's see where this goes. I wasn't a huge fan of this, but I'm like, okay. And then I saw what the result was the next night, and I was just like,
we'll get to that. Yeah. Because I have opinions on it also.
We're going to move on. It's NJPW World Television Title time. Zack Sabre Jr., Tom Lawlor. I've got so many notes for this match. I can't go through it all. Dude, these two.
I've only got 2, so like go for it.
Well, I was
so too enamored by this match, and I also don't know move names like you.
You give up your note. You give your notes before I give mine.
I just said it went from a technical match to an absolute brawl back to a technical match. There were very obvious, explicit moments in this match where it was like, this is all technical. Boop. This is the brawl point. Boop. This is back to the technical stuff. Zack Sabre Jr. mouthy as fuck. I absolutely love it. I love this version of Zack Sabre Jr. I enjoyed him on Suzuki-gun before. He was mouthy, but like this mouthy Zack Sabre Jr. I think is what I've been waiting for. I've always I wasn't a fan of him when I first started watching him. He kind of grew on me. I earned a respect for that. But this Zack Sabre Jr. is someone I would purchase a TMDK shirt because of this Zack Sabre Jr.
If I had money, I would.
Lawlor, can't take away from Lawlor in this one. He did his absolute best. And it's not very, we've seen Tom Lawlor in person. We know how tall he is. Zack Sabre Jr. is taller than Tom Lawlor. That's terrifying. But interesting. Andre, what do you think of this one?
This was absolutely a technical masterpiece. It's everything I expected from this match and more. Because, going into this, I know how good of a technical master Zack Sabre Jr. is. Mm-hmm. I've watched Tom Lawlor extensively for years. I watched him in UFC. He was a great wrestler just there in MMA, and his ability in the ring has only evolved so well in these last few years in working professional wrestling that I was so excited. And it gave me everything I wanted. This was my highlight of the evening. Even with the main event, the way it went, this was my highlight of the evening because Zack Sabre Jr. is legitimately one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, behind MRP and Zack Sabre Jr. This dude is absolutely. Oh, sorry. Behind MRB and Will Ospreay, Zack Sabre Jr. is one of my top 3 favorite wrestlers of all time. And this match was absolute perfection. These two, again, you said it went for they're at one point they're both early on. They're both pulling knee bars on each other at the same time. They're the rolling that they did and everything. Dude, Lawler's nose got broken and he was bloody. It was bloody as fuck.
Was it his nose or his lip? Was that the night where the tooth went through his lip?
Or maybe it was the lip. I don't know, but it was blood up all around.
He definitely face planted. There was a weird suplex thing where he let his face hit the ground before, and that was when I noticed the blood coming from his lip.
I thought it was coming from his nose again, and even the commentary said he's got a broken nose, or they never made a comment about a bloody nose, but I guess it must be probably the bloody lip.
He could have. I mean.
But yeah, dude, just each picking each other off and being able to reverse a technical move from the other. Mm-hmm. It was a spot Sabre jumps on a guy and grabs that front face lock thing.
Yes.
Lawlor did the same thing to him. So Sabre just reverses it and hits a Zack driver out of it. It was all those little small things that you see one guy usually do, but the other guy's doing it to them. And it was that kind of look. But in the end, Sabre gets a standing Kimura on Lawlor, but Lawlor turns it into a sick looking pile driver. But can't get the pin, and then they have trading pin sequences with one another. But Sabre ends up getting it's Wheeler Yuta's pin finish, the seatbelt pin, and gets the win. Absolutely tremendous match, just tremendous. I think it was 13 minutes, something seconds, or something like that. They said.
Yeah, I don't even know. I never pay attention. Melball's bad at math, so adding numbers to anything really complicates her life. Yeah, you mentioned how like Lawlor just kind of effortlessly hopped up into Sabre like that. That's something that I noticed that he has done a few times in the past, and it really surprises me a lot because again, we've met Tom Lawlor, we've seen him wrestle live. He's not what's the word? He's not as fluid as Zack Sabre Jr. Like it's obvious that there is some wear and tear with Tom Lawlor a little bit. He walks I would say a little stiff in comparison to Zack Sabre Jr. But it's like as soon as he gets in that ring, it's like that knob of that stiffness gets completely turned down, and you don't see that. It's like he turns it off. It's like that's how he walks outside. But as soon as he gets into work, it's like the switch is flipped and you don't even notice. It's incredible. And he's almost like a little kitty, like a little cat, just spry, jumps up on everything with no effort. It's absolutely crazy, but so entertaining too. The two of them also, on top of being such great technical wrestlers and great brawlers, both of them have this showmanship that makes them completely well-rounded entertainers in this business. I absolutely love it.
Well, just to the showmanship, at the start of the match, when Lawler's taking the Daisy Dukes off, Sabre's like, he claps for him. I was like, that's some just the way he did it, like kind of like arrogantly clapping while he's taking them off. I'm like, that was absolute perfection. But again, that's the pure character of both men. Absolutely. Coming out in those situations, and it was just absolutely tremendous match, man. But the next match was, I think, probably Mel's favorite match of the evening because I know her love for both of these wrestlers. It's Tomohiro Ishii taking on technically a junior El Desperado. He's technically a junior heavyweight, but he's been bulking up. Like you can tell he's getting bigger. And is he going to be graduating to the heavyweight division now that he's part of Strong Style? Is he going to be like continuing? Because they're saying he's right on the cusp. This is what the announcers are saying. They said he's right at that 220 limit. He's right at around spot. He's at like that 215-pound area where he's like, is he a junior? Is he a heavyweight? And man, holy shit. The strikes alone in this match were amazing. Like Ishii just like you'll see Desperado hitting these sick chops, and then Ishii will come back and just one hard chop and dropping Despy. Dude, these two killed it. Like Desperado, there's a spot where Desperado hits a suplex, Ishii hits a power slam, then a power bomb, but Desperado comes back, hits a spine buster, then Ishii hits a back chop driver. And then both men just go, and there's just. Like just the stretch, just be getting a stretch muffler on Ishii and Ishii's facials. I never looked at this man as insanely expressive, but when he's in a submission, which isn't, you don't see him in submissions a lot. When he gets he has the ability to sell pain on that man's face, and I'm like, holy shit! But dude, these two just killed each other in this. But in the end, Hugh just sick lariat. And a vertical drop brainbuster by Ishii picks up the win over El Desperado.
Yeah. And he had to do a couple of those brainbusters on Desperado to actually pick up that win. Some of them a lot more out of nowhere than Ishii usually does. Man, Desperado, though, fought so freaking hard. He was like in the fight of his life and he knew it. This guy was throwing absolutely everything. But man, how awesome and impressive is it that Desperado was able to hang with someone like Tomohiro Ishii? I would almost argue that Desperado kind of pulled out a Kashi Misaki on us and showed that, overwhelming resiliency. I mean, he is known for his death matches. I mean, that was what caused his jaw to be kind of broken there and saw the introduction of Doki into Suzuki-gun. Desperado's not exactly, a soft person in this wrestling business. So to go against Ishii, and he really gave Ishii a run for his money. I almost feel like Ishii was taken a little surprised, taken aback about how hard he had to work in this match to pick up that win from Desperado. Man, and you're absolutely right. He rocked Desperado. Like Ishii was rocking Desperado's head for most of this match. But, like, bless him, he never went down. He would come back up almost instantaneously and be like, do it again, do it again, do it again.
Strong style.
Yeah, and, like, he's 1/3 of the never openweight 6-man champions, right? You know, you got to be defiant in that. That being said, though, Ishii does technically have a win over one of the members of the never openweight 6-man champions. Does this open up a segue for us to see a team of Ishii and Chaos trying to
Leo Russian yo, Leo Russian yo, Leo Russian yo.
You remember the other two members of Strong Style, right? Do you think that Leo Rush is going to do very well against Minoru Suzuki?
That's why I want to see it.
Like, I like Leo Rush and everything, but like...
No, you don't.
I've said before, I like his in-ring style. I just don't like his attitude. But like... I don't think his in-ring style can keep up with the brawler and strike ability of Minoru Suzuki. Like... New hotness versus angry grandpa might not work out so well. That being said, this match was incredible.
Yeah, absolutely barn burner for me. It was so good. One of the highlights of the night. And we get on to Fred Ross versus Juice Robinson. That didn't happen because Juice attacked Fred during his entrance, beat the living hell out of him, hit a pile driver on the stage, whips him with the belt, throws him into the ring, beats him around some more, suplexes him on the outside, gets him in the ring, hits him with a chair that was at ringside that had Tony Storm's name on it. Juice Robinson's wife.
The chair was Tony Storm at that point.
Yeah, but
hit him with Tony Storm.
Yeah, Tony the Chair Storm, and beats the shit out of him with the chair. Gets the roll of quarters, hits him with the left hand of God with the quarters, and the quarters go everywhere. I guess it rains quarters from heaven, I guess, because it's the left hand of God. Right? It's the left hand. It's the left hand of God, man. Quarters raining everywhere. That
pays you. Good to know.
Yeah, and then Juice gets the mic, says keep his wife's name out of his mouth, and that's pretty much all he says. Takes off.
I was the nice way that he said it. Yes.
I was looking forward to this match, and we got what we got, and I was just like, okay, I guess, okay, like.
I'm not going to lie. This is kind of like, I was also looking forward to a match. I was expecting the match to get started before it dissolved into the chaos that it was, but I did expect this kind of chaos just because this is what Juice Robinson, Mr. Rockhead, has shown us that he is since debuting as this character. He kind of is that walking... I hate using the word so much because it's not his faction, but like he is walking chaos. He's literally there's no, I don't want to say there's no foundation, but right now there is no functionality to the Juice Robinson character. He's just kind of, I feel like, milling about, jumping from show to show with Jay White, kind of doing their thing. I feel like the addition of Jay White to him is going to be a good thing for him because it's going to give him some direction and some clarity. Something I actually didn't realize until we were talking about it with David Finlay's and AR Fox's match. Finlay and Robinson back on the same team again. Didn't even realize that.
Sort of, because technically Juice isn't part of Bullet Club Normal. He's now part of Bullet Club Gold in AEW. So he's not really. It's a separate. They're creating their own faction over in AEW called Bullet Club Gold. So I think eventually it's going to come down to, and I feel like ELP is going to end up joining that faction. Probably. It's going to come down to Finlay and a couple of his guys against Jay, Juice, and probably ELP at Forbidden Door, where it's going to be Bullet Club versus Bullet Club. I think that's where we're headed.
This has become so confusing because now we look at Bullet Club and we literally have Bullet Club made up of 3 freaking factions. Break it up, boys. Like House of Torture, not Bullet Club.
Technically, they are, though.
No, they're not. This is not Bullet Club. This is Bullet Club. This is not Bullet Club. This is Bullet Club.
This is the Smokers Club. Come on.
Well, if you're going to... This is 420 is what this is. This isn't Bullet Club. This is Bullet Club.
But we'll
So,
see where it
as
all
far as I'm
goes.
concerned, I don't. They can get their marketing for it all they want. As far as I'm concerned, House of Torture not considered Bullet Club. Now we have Bullet Club Gold. Like, guys, just drop the Bullet Club label. I get that it's a marketable thing, but like Jay White and himself, just being Jay White is what makes him marketable. He doesn't need the Bullet Club acronym to get his popularity there. So,
and even Jay White and Juice are doing this. They're not doing this. They're doing this. As for Bullet Club Gold. So, well, bullets or shooting guns, it kind of makes sense. More than the wolf pack symbol. This is literally the wolf pack symbol from the 90s.
I know, but the Bullet Club is built on this.
This is what the Bullet Club was built on originally. This is what Balor did. This is what Balor.
Everyone else since has done this.
Yeah, but this is what Balor, Fale, Carl, and Tama were doing in that first year of Bullet Club. This is what it was. This was adopted by when it went elite, and you added in all those extra members. That's when this came in. So
to me, though, this is more recognizable. This is what every freaking cowboy junkie in freaking Texas is doing to be like, I'm somebody down here. This is Chase Owens.
You're going to move on.
What this tells me.
Yeah, we're going to move on. It's Hiromu Takahashi and Tetsuya Naito's LIJ versus Sanada and Yoshinobu Kanemaru from I guess they're just two guys here tonight. This was like, I thought it was going to be like before last weekend show, I thought it was going to be all about Naito versus Sanada. But this is all about Hiromu versus Sanada and Kanemaru because he's got a defense against Kanemaru coming up on the road to Dontaku shows, along with facing Sanada at Wrestling Dontaku for the heavyweight title. So, but this was really fun. Ian Riccaboni getting Daryl the Cat. I was like, yes. And I even wrote down, I wrote down it's time for the sponsor segment. The Just Five Guys Burgers, represented by Kanemaru and Sanada. Because they're in America now where Five Guys is the thing. So
it's true. It's true. Not gonna lie. I like the Five Guys faction. I like the members. I like the idea that what they're doing. I like having Taka being their creepy little flasher mouthpiece, because realistically, that's all he's really good at doing. Because, like, my goodness, that guy gets his ass beat too much. I like Sanada's new trunks, his new gear. I mean, goodness help us, they're so small. When he puts that belt on, it looks like he's not even wearing trunks. But let me tell you, the design, whoever they clearly fired whoever they had as their Suzuki-gun seamstress, because Yoshinobu Kanemaru got some new gear, and I'm not gonna lie, it looks like it's very underwhelming for someone who's going into an IWGP Junior Championship match. That being said, the color scheme of it, not the problem. It's just the fit of it was very boring. It was one color. It was very solid on him. If he had some textures added onto it or just some patterning of another color, it would look a lot better. But also just the way it fit on Kanemaru, he's a fit guy. But the way it was hugging him, it made him look like something he wasn't, which was chubbier. And he's not. He's actually a very, very fit guy. But just the way it was hugging him, it made him look like he had no butt, all gut. It was not a nice look. I would like to see him go back to the pants that he has in Japan, that baggier style. I just felt that it looked better on him with the gold accenting. Then it also had that snake print kind of thing. Getting away from the aesthetics, though, that I can rant about for hours and hours and hours. You're absolutely right. A lot of emotions in this match with Hiromu, especially. Naito was actually very, like, I feel like he was almost just like pretty chill. Just like, yeah, I'm here. I'm doing stuff. The crowd likes me. And I was totally cool with that. Hiromu was very almost incensed, especially with Sanada. I felt that he was more intent on Sanada, which kind of distracted him from the Kanemaru threat, which resulted in the end of this match. And also, like, this created a lot of mistakes for Hiromu throughout the match. He found himself in some pretty compromising positions, we'll say, including in Sanada's Paradise Lock.
Yeah, like I can't talk about the super technically. It was a good match. Again, the motion you got out of Hiromu and Sanada was awesome. But again, nothing. It wasn't anything special in the ring. It was good, nothing bad. Like, I'm not saying that. It just wasn't anything like super highlightable. Yeah, Sanada getting Hiromu in the Paradise Lock. Again, it's looking at like, okay, is this guy going to have the advantage? This guy seems like he's good. Every time they were in there, they really gave Sanada the advantage over Hiromu, kind of dominating. It's like, no, you're a junior versus I'm a heavyweight. I'm going to dominate you when we face off. It was they're kind of building that story. Again, it was a fun little match. And even Naito seemed too nonchalant to Sanada, who just kind of screwed him over in a sense. Like, he didn't turn on him and beat him up or anything. He just left their faction and just kind of
pieced out one day.
Yeah, just kind of screw you. And it was just a little sad in a way that he kind of. But again, that's not who Naito is. He doesn't show that emotion a lot. No. But in the end, Kanemaru and Hiromu are exchanging the pins, and Kanemaru gets the victory on Hiromu with that like deep pin. It just gets like a tight pin there, and we'll see, man. Because I could see them taking the title off of Hiromu, putting it onto Kanemaru for now, just to kind of move him up and let him be officially become a heavyweight. Like, again, I think it's time. I think it's time for him to move on from the junior side. He's done it so many times. He's been a junior for so. A change will be good, and again, putting up against guys like Sanada, putting up against like guys in the heavyweight division makes way more sense to me. Kenta, dude, all the amount of people that he could wrestle that he hasn't had like full on singles with would be absolutely tremendous. So,
oh my goodness, could you imagine him facing his own stablemate Shingo Takagi for the KOPW title?
Or if he ends up having to face a Naito in a G1 or something,
why not?
Like, those would be amazing. And I want to see him in the G1 and not in Super Juniors this year. It's really, really
I agree. Someone else can take one of those spots for sure.
Very much so. So we are going to move it on. We got the the NJ. I almost said KOPW because you have that in my head. The NJPW Strong Openweight Championship match. Kenta versus Eddie Edwards. It was a very like slow start, lock up, strikes. Like, kind of just go, and then like Kenta rolling to the floor, running away as he does, and like again, wasn't a lot of like highlightable in this. Like, nice backpack stunner by Edwards at one point where he has him on his back and drops into the stunner. Looked really good. Kenta getting a beautiful green killer and nails a haluva kick in the corner. Shout out to Sami Zayn, followed by a beautiful like hesitation drop kick. And then a diving double foot stomp, but like he's so smooth in everything he does. Eddie Edwards getting the buckle bomb and then like hitting another power bomb right after it, getting it too. Like, dude, it's very smooth and everything you do. Kenta in the end though, he runs Edwards into the ref, he hits a DDT, gets the belt, but Edwards hits a super kick. Edwards goes for the belt shot. Kenta gets the low blow. Kenta does the go to sleep and gets the win. And again, it's kind of what I expect because both are heels. Like, both are heels. Eddie's a heel in Impact. Kenta's a heel in New Japan, in my personal opinion. Again, what he's done.
I did not know that about
Eddie going for the belt shot made way more sense in this match than Kenta going for the belt shot, in my personal opinion. But yeah, good match. After the match, though, Hikuleo video challenging Kenta for the Strong Openweight title at Wrestling Dontaku, baby, in May. I'm excited.
And arguably the best promo I think I've seen Hikuleo cut. Because before he was very, how do I say it? I want to say newbie. In that, you know, when a newbie's cutting a promo, they're doing this. You know, they're looking off over there, looking off over there. No, the Hikuleo was intent. He said everything with purpose. Like, it was one of the better promos that I've seen cut in NJPW in some time. Very impressive with him on that. Challenging for the championship. That I mean, I gotta say, I was gonna flat out say it. We know Hickey Man's not gonna beat him. It's Kenta. It's Kenta. And as much as I would love to see Hikuleo and Tomatonga at the same time with NJPW Gold, I don't think Hikuleo's ready for the smoke of Kenta, but I also don't think he's ready to hold a title quite yet. He's got a little bit more of development to do. Back into the match, though, really quick. I didn't know that Eddie Edwards was a heel because I'm not a regular Impact watcher. So that kind of makes a lot more sense to me throughout the match because he was like almost having face tendencies, but I was like, this person feels like they're forcing the face tendencies.
Very much. I think he was defaulted into it because of who Kenta is in this company. He kind of got defaulted into playing a pseudo babyface while still having heel mannerisms that he is very much used to in these last few years.
Yeah, that's the impression.
That's what it was.
Yeah, 100%. I definitely got that impression there. The strikes from both of these guys, though, so brutal, so strong, and as you said, very crisp, very clean, very, very intentional with their placement of where they're going. I felt this was a great match. Again, from being someone who hasn't really seen Eddie Edwards in the past, this match was actually very, very impressive. A little bit bigger of a guy, but man, can he move. That was a great match.
Yeah, absolutely tremendous, these two. I look forward to more what Kenta's going to do with this title. It's absolutely 100%. Amazing.
Because it's about damn time.
We move into the main event of the evening for the strong openweight tag team championships. Again, if I hadn't literally just seen Aussie Open win the heavyweight titles over in New Japan a week ago, maybe this win would have made this match of the night for me.
Oh, okay.
But again, I just saw them win the IWGP titles. So winning the strong titles, well, awesome. And watching them, I think for me personally, having Okada and Tanahashi in this match, I think brought it down for me personally. Because if you would have just given me Guns versus Aussie Open in a straight up tag team match for the titles and Aussie Open winning there, I think this would have been match of the night for me. Not that Okada and Tanahashi did anything wrong. They had some great spots. They had great spots with Aussie Open. They had great spots with the Gun. It's just, I felt their presence kind of overshadowed things because you have these legendary figures in this company kind of looming over these titles where, and in my personal opinion, you're not putting the strong titles on Okada and Tanahashi, who primarily wrestle in Japan.
No.
So you knew they weren't going to win. So it's like, are the Guns going to retain, or are they giving the Aussie Open, who are traveling a lot? And that's fine with me because they're going to come back and defend these titles multiple times. I guarantee it. It was a really great match. All three teams worked so well together. Okada, beautiful spots. Him and Davis, the way they traded off was absolutely tremendous. Like, Davis was such a domineering presence in this match. But you got all these guys doing so good and just so much. Fletcher hitting a beautiful brainbuster on Saban. But then he tags out to Okada because he's hurt. It was things like that that really perplexed me in this match when they would tag out the people that weren't on the team, because it was like, why would you leave the ring? Like, why would you leave? Because it just, and the fact that it was only two people in the ring, it wasn't a person from each team in there. That was the other thing that didn't sense me on this match. That brought it down for me. Is it was just like, I hate that only two people in the ring at the same time legal. I hate it because, again, one team is always out of the match.
I agree with you. I feel that that's something that Stardom does correctly, which is rare in its in-ring roughing and stuff like that. I do like how Stardom, when they have like a situation like this, one person from every team is in there, not just the tag team. And I personally think that makes sense. It should be something that should be considered here in North America in particular, because it doesn't make sense. Why would you tag yourself out to somebody else and risk not having your team be a part of the deciding decision on who is winning these titles. So you're absolutely right. And I do agree with you. It did feel very odd to have the shadows of Okada and Tanahashi kind of looming over the ring while you have the legend of Motor City Machine Guns here, who are doing all of their crazy stuff, and then Aussie Open, who's arguably the up-and-comers in this situation, even though having won the IWGP World Tag Team Championships, which I didn't see. So I actually felt this was a great experience for me, seeing them win these titles. But yeah.
It was great to see them win, because remember, they were the ones that lost them to the Guns. They lost because Aussie Open was the initial champions, lost to the Guns, and get them back. I loved seeing it. Don't get me wrong. I was like, yes, but it's just for me personally, having just watched Sakura Genesis and having them just climb the mountain finally up for the main titles, it just takes it. Not that it doesn't take anything away. It's just that it's like, oh, okay, another one, great. They're going the FTR route. I think they're going to win multiple titles in multiple places. I mean, I think that's what they're going after here.
Something I really enjoyed, obviously, the crowd. I love that the crowd in North America I love that we're loud. It's one thing that I really do love about our fans and our crowd here, is that we're freaking loud and we're very passionate. But what I really loved throughout this match was just showing the love for Aussie Open, the Aussie, oi, 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 throughout the entire match. It was incredible. But then Okada, being the Okada dick that he is, I loved it, got in there. He's got Kyle Fletcher. Okada, oi, oi, oi. It was incredible. I absolutely loved it. It really speaks to the showmanship, because I think I could be wrong, but I feel like Okada and Tanahashi kind of felt the same way we do. They knew that they weren't going in to win this match. They know that, Okada is a former IWGP champion. A lot of people kind of feel very Roman Reigns-y about him right now. Hiroshi Tanahashi, he's the ace. Everyone loves the ace, but the ace is an aging horse right now. And as much as we love seeing him do the same trail, every single day, every single week, every single month, year, whatever, eventually that horse is not going to be able to do that trail anymore. And I unfortunately feel like we're starting to wind down on Tanahashi and his in-ring career, which makes me sad, because I love seeing him perform. He's so passionate and very dedicated about professional wrestling and everything he's in. So yeah, man, oh man, what a way. I don't even know what to say.
It was amazing. And Okada has said he wants to go into tag team wrestling now. He has said that. He has made the comments. So, and again, I think this is a perfect way for Tana to wrap up his career in a major sense. It lets him be, especially if you have him in the tag team division with Okada, it gives him that ability to have some high profile matches without having to be in there the entire damn match. It gives him the ability, and then when he comes in, he can fire up, he can hit the spots he needs to hit to, and let Okada be the guy that goes in and wrestles him, say 65, 70% of it, and let Tana be the hot tag guy. Let Tana be the big flashy spot guy. You can do that, and then it takes the wear down on Tanahashi. But in the end, I think the last couple of minutes of the match was pretty much all Aussie Open and Machine Guns, because the Aussie Open misses the sandwich on Saban. Saban fight facts. It's a tornado DDT to Fletcher. Shelley takes out Davis, and then they hit the dirt bomb to Fletcher, but get that 2.9 pin. You know what I mean? And then Fletcher gets back in. They double team, hit Shelley with the tomb. He gets Shelley with a tombstone. Davis ends up pile driving the shit out of Saban. They hit the sandwich hilarious to Saban. Hit him with Coriolis. They pick up the win. Huge win. I was like. I was watching this at 4:30 in the morning, so I'm just like at 4:31. I went to go say and I had to stop because I didn't want to wake my mom up. But yeah, absolutely phenomenal win. But again, it showed that through as much as I loved seeing the Dream Team, as they're called, in this, the last couple of minutes of the match did not involve them. In the reality, you really didn't need them. Again, you want to feature these two on a big show like this. I get that. But just put him in a tag match in the semi-main event against another team.
Because
I as much as I loved him, and then after the match, Aussie Open stares down the Dream Team in the ring. So it looks like this is going to be a tag team title match at some point. Dream Team versus Aussie Open for the IWGP belt. Fletcher gets a mic, says, and the crowd chanting, "You deserve it." Fletcher says it's one hell of a main event. He gives Okada and Tanahashi props to the best Japanese wrestlers of all time, and Machine Guns as props one of the best teams of a generation. They stand here as the new tag team champions. Crowd chants for FTR, and Fletcher says that's some bullshit right there. And they're gonna create the best belt collection in the world. And we are Aussie Open, and now and forever. That was the greatest lines that they said. Now and forever, we run the world. The fact that he pulled a variation of the W then now forever thing. Now and forever, we run the world. I want to see more Aussie Open, and we're going to get it because we're going into Collision in Philadelphia.
Yes.
So we're going to hammer into this one. Started out with Despy and Volador, Team Lucha, taking on Delirious and Kevin Knight, the Delirious Jets. I'm going to call them because they're it's just a weird pairing of a take. This whole show was a weird pairing night, I think, in my personal opinion.
No. I think Desperado and Volador have extensive involvement with each other. With Desperado's kind of trade over in Mexico.
But like Delirious and Kevin Knight, where did that come from?
Well, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not a big fan of this Delirious guy for a few reasons. The first, where are your shoes? Where are your shoes?
He's never wrestled in shoes.
Yeah, and these people like Mike Bailey. There's a Solo. I think Solo in WWE also doesn't wear shoes. Bruh. That's just yucky. Don't expect someone to massage your feet if you're not walking around with no shoes. Just saying. But the character itself is it's interesting. It's different. It really freaked out Desperado there, freaking just swan diving at his feet to start the match. And fair. Like, you got a foot fetish. Clearly, like, you're just diving at people's feet. That's fine. But, like, maybe save it for after the match.
This match, though, was really good.
Yeah. I mean, the Lucha guys were out on display in this one. And Volador Jr. was just kind of like, it was almost like his feet weren't touching the ground. He was just perpetually diving and flying and jumping and hurricanranaing and doing everything possible to not to be on the ground. But Volador Jr. again using that showmanship, that good sportsmanship to lure Kevin Knight into a comfort kind of thing there at the beginning before starting the match. And Kevin Knight, my goodness, man, he's just such an athlete, such a performer. But yeah, I actually really enjoyed the end of this where Desperado was actually able to hit that Pinche Loco on Delirious.
Off of Volador hitting the backstabber into the Pinche Loco.
Just absolutely boink.
But Kevin Knight's that drop kick he has. They gave it a name on the show. It's now known as the Sky High drop kick. That's how Rick Abani described it. He called it the Sky High, or maybe it might have been Kozlov who said it, but they said it was the Sky High drop kick, and that needs to be the name for this move because the height he gets, the Sky High drop kick makes every bit of sense.
I agree.
Yeah. So, but absolutely phenomenal match. I think again, my biggest downer in this match was Delirious, but he still was really good. Again, they all work together. Delirious getting like that Dermis Destroyer on the back of Volador.
Yeah, I saw that, and I'm like, stop doing that. That's not consensual.
We had this conversation the other day, didn't we? Well, we move on. Tracy Williams, Alice Coughlin, again. Pure rules match. They have the code of honor at the start of the match to shake hands. Again, beautiful. This is very much a mat wrestling match between both men. Absolutely tremendous. Beautiful DDT suplex from Williams off the top. The monkey flips when they're monkey flipping each other. Absolutely tremendous. But then Williams catches Coughlin in a triangle as Williams tries to do a monkey flip at one point and catches him in a triangle. And it's just that beautiful like transitions that both men were doing in their technical ability in this match was where everything Williams getting a La Mystica into the crossface, beautiful but Coughlin and Coughlin ends up standing up while in the crossface, carries him up, getting Williams on his shoulder, hits a Samoan drop, beautiful, only gets 2 out of it. And then they end up striking the living hell out of each other. Yes. And Coughlin slips around, hits the bridging German suplex, gets the win. Again, tremendous match from these two. Very technical, very, very good. This was a Tracy Williams. Oh, sorry. This is a Tracy Williams special from when he was in ROH. He wrestled almost all of his matches under the pure rules because he was in that pure division.
And something I was going to say, I don't feel like there was any questions in this match. I don't remember there being any calls for any violations in the pure match rules, much like I'd seen with, I want to say it was Macklin and Gresham. There was massive violations, particularly by Macklin. So very, very interesting, especially like I do enjoy these matches because it allows for an actual legitimately pure wrestling match. And I feel in this situation, this is exactly what we got. Holy hell and shit, though, is Alex Coughlin an actual machine? Like, I really do think he is. The ability that he has to just somehow power through things that normal people can't power through is absolutely incredible. One thing I noticed also, though, about Tracy Williams, just to kind of shout him out on that, is as much as Coughlin tried to kind of control Williams is very wiggly. He's like a little worm. And like he can get out of a lot of stuff because of that, which really, really helped along the match in this particular respect. One thing I was surprised you didn't mention was the guillotine that Coughlin got caught in with Williams, and then he was able to battle out of that and somehow just use what very little momentum that he still had wiggling out of that to pop up Williams into that power bomb.
Yeah, and, sorry, I have it written down. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, that's good because then I got to say it. And Veda Scott also referencing on commentary about how, Coughlin had no momentum to get up into that pop-up, and somehow he still muscled the power to still create that hop up, because he actually did get some disconnect from Williams before dropping him into that power bomb. It just really, really speaks to the power of Coughlin. Picking up this win, very definitive, very dominant for him. I honestly wasn't expecting him to pick up this win. I'm very pleasantly surprised at this.
I'm not surprised. Again, I thought there was a possibility that Williams would win because it was a pure rules match. But the fact that it's Coughlin and they're building this guy, it didn't surprise me. I think they're building him up because I think they eventually want him in a Kenta match. Especially with the one over here. I think they're building him up, especially on the New Japan of America side, to be a guy that's going to go up against Kenta. I think that's what they're going to eventually build him up to. So,
do you think maybe the Shote strikes would actually fix that eye problem he's got? Maybe it's like maybe Kenta can find his full reset button and we can unlock the entire power that is Alex Coughlin. My goodness, could you imagine? Full Terminator on everyone.
I don't want to make fun of people for their eyes. One of my best friends has an eye problem, so
he doesn't have an eye problem. He just, the way he displays them, it looks scary. It looks scary when he comes out bug-eyed.
Yeah,
it's a little scary.
I think it works for him, though. We move on. It's a match that was added to the show on the day. The DKC versus Clark Connors. Again, there wasn't much to this match. It didn't go very long.
No.
So Finlay comes out with Clark Connors. Finlay talks about getting rid of ELP, recruiting Connors, and he believes in Finlay. So that Bullet Club is for savages only, and we're going to win championships. If you're not loyal, you're out. I don't like the new gear on Connors. Looks very bland. No more hat, no more vest. Again, as much as I gave him shit for the hat, it just gave him something to his character. Just plain black pants.
Poorly fit black pants at that.
Yeah, it was a good match in the ring. DKC and Connor's really working on each other, beating the living holy hell out of each other. Crowd's chanting. The saddest part about this is crowd was chanting for Jay White in this match. That is the saddest part about it, and that the fact that neither men in this match was the one getting chance.
I think that had to do with Finlay. I think people were more pissed at seeing Finlay at this point.
It was very much that. DKC getting a beautiful crucifix driver and gets into the rings of Saturn and get then for 2 and then turns it into rings of Saturn. But Connors does get out of it. Connors hits a huge spear, just cutting DKC in half, but doesn't go for the win rate. And it sets up for another one, hits it, and then he doesn't go for the pin. The ref's going to end the match, but DKC's like, no, don't do it. And then DKC stands up and gets hit with another spear, and Connors gets the win. Like, again, great showing in the ring. And again, he did a good job projecting heel mannerisms and everything. It's just you took away a lot of the character that made him. And it's like, I'm like, he seems like a bland dude now with the pants and the.
He does.
We'll see where it goes because I'm really hoping they pull him over to Japan proper, and we'll see where he goes because I really do hope that we get something good out of him. I don't think it's going. I think he's just gonna be another bland Bullet Club member.
Yeah, upon like at face value right now, if this is what we're getting, I have to say no. We're going to look for other options where your contract has been denied. Very underwhelming. You know, the gear clearly wasn't ready in the same respect that it was for Evil, that it was for Finlay, that it was, you know, like they're clearly. I feel like it almost shows that the addition of Clark Connors to the Bullet Club was a decision that was made going into the weekend, as opposed to a long-term thing that they had decided, like Finlay, like Evil, where they had the gear, they had the music, they had the video, they had everything already ready. I definitely feel like this was kind of like maybe a last-minute decision, either by NJPW, Finlay, Gato, Clark Connors, everyone I just mentioned. But yeah, it definitely, you're absolutely right. The removal of everything, not even just one or two things. It was the removal of everything that made Clark Connors, including his personality. He literally, it was almost like they just kind of took him, threw him over their shoulder and just said, this is the base and we're working on it. And that's fine, but give us something. And I felt that there was very much nothing. You know, he was arrogant, 100%. He was emulating that new attitude that the Bullet Club is wanting with David Finlay and that arrogant, that egotistical, that dominant, that, you know, very, this is my ring kind of mentality. I like that. And I noticed that. But like, his expressions were gone. Like he was very deadpan, which is not something that Clark Connors is known for. He's very expressive. That expression was also gone in his moves. It was gone in his gear. I think this is a thing where you're right. He does need to go somewhere else and get that development. I think that he will probably find himself back in Japan with David Finlay, building up this club. And I hope by the time that they actually get to Wrestling Dontaku, which is going to be in a few weeks, I hope by the time they get there that they've kind of got a little bit more organization, that we can be saying a lot more positive things about Connors, because we both love Clark Connors. His in-ring ability is amazing, but what they're transitioning him into is very lackluster.
Very much so. And I really do hope. We love him. I was calling for local companies to bring him in. Still welcome to. Just bring your old gear with you if you do.
Yeah, bring the cowboy hat. If you're not using it anymore, a Melball can.
Yeah. So we move on. 6-man tag, TMDK versus Team Filthy. Love Team Filthy's baseball jerseys, by the way. They're absolutely tremendous. And then before the match starts, the ref's checking, and he checks Nelson. He finds
at the behest of Zack Sabre Jr.
At the behest of Sabre Jr. He finds a carabiner, like which you hook onto your keys or onto stuff, in Nelson's gear, in his trunks. And so he checks Isaac, and he finds in the elbow pad a thing of crazy glue. And then he goes to Tom Lawlor, and he finds a toothbrush in the kick pad. It seems so Yano-ish.
Look at who we're talking about.
I know, but it was just like, I loved it. I absolutely loved it, man. And then the match itself, these teams like did so well working with each other. Like it was very much based on the hatred that Tom and Sabre have. That was very much their the biggest feature in this match. But again, West Coast Wrecking Crew has been fighting with TMDK for a while, and again, it's that. And again, I love the back and forth between all these teams. I don't have a lot of technical stuff written down here. There's a great spot though. Isaac gets a Cobra twist, Sabre gets a Cobra twist on Isaac's, and then gets ties up. Sorry, I'm reading that spot. Ties up the legs of Nelson. Then as Isaac comes in, he gets the Cobra twist on him, holding him a Cobra twist, and then throws him away. Then turns back to Nelson, ties him up, but all these keep switching submission holds that Sabre does. It was absolutely tremendous, that little spot. Big Teats and Isaac's just throwing hands at each other, man. So good. Then Haste and Nelson gets in, and Jorel Nelson get in there, and they're throwing hands at each other. It was just absolutely fun. Tom with the speed chops to Sabre, and then lines it up with an uppercut. Yeah, dude. They were
reminiscent of Kenta Kobashi, let alone Kojima Satoshi.
Let alone Saida. I was going to give her a shout out.
Yeah. Or Amisori.
Or I guess. But yeah, in the end, or towards the end, Tito hits spears on both of the Wrecking Crew and hits a Blue Thunder Bomb on Lawlor, but can only pick up 2. Then huge lariat by Big Teats to Nelson. And it gets like an F5 looking move. But Lawlor gets a PK just right up the jaw, then hits the knee to the back of the head, the nasty knee to the brain, and onto Big Teats. Lawlor pins Big Teats, picks up a very filthy win. But again, absolutely tremendous match from all these competitors.
100%. 100%. What I really, really enjoyed at the beginning of this was when Nelson was trying to chop Big Teats. And Teats is just like, Teats, you don't chop those teats. He was just swatting it off like it was nothing. Just like, Julia swatting off Aya Sakura's drop kicks at the beginning of their match there, just like it was nothing. Really enjoyed that. Zack Sabre Jr., again, I've mentioned he's very mouthy since leaving Suzuki-gun, joining TMDK. Really, I know that the focus was the kind of feud between Zack Sabre Jr. and Lawlor and Teats and Haste and Isaacs and Jorel, but I felt that there were certain points where Zack Sabre Jr. was really laying it into Isaacs, like just really, really not being nice. Which, Zack Sabre Jr., but still, it was interesting to see him getting mouthy with everyone. And I just felt that he was a little diggier more at Isaacs than Lawlor in this one. Shane Haste was really, really impressive against Jorel William. Why do I call him Williams? Jorel Nelson in this one. They're, again, the TMDK versus Team Filthy. I definitely think that they're going to be coming down to another kind of brawl, hopefully involving maybe Mikey Nichols and that little Limelight kid,
or J.R. Kratos.
Kratos. Yeah, I think Kratos would probably be the better one in that one because Limelight is not size appropriate. I think in this one.
What I would love is for Jonah to come back. And you get Jonah.
He's too busy going through his identity crisis.
That's what I'm saying.
WWE.
He needs to come back and find his real identity.
Yeah, he needs to find himself.
Yeah, I would love to see that. But
the stalling suplexes done to TMDK by Team Filthy was great. The double, I believe it was on. I can't remember. Was it Haste inside and then Isaac's walking around with Zack Sabre Jr. on the outside, or the other way around?
I think.
I know it was Lawlor and Nelson inside doing a double suplex to someone, and it was Isaac's running around with someone on the outside.
Isaac's walks the outside with Sabre,
not involved.
And then Tom and Nelson have the Haste and the suplex on the inside.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Teets was the only one not involved. He avoided the suplex. Good job, Teets.
You said Danny Limelight's too small. Bring Fujita in as your fourth, or bring Limelight and Kratos in. Nichols is Kratos' foil, and
that could work.
Fujita is Limelight's foil.
Yeah, no, that works. That works. Bring in the Ichiban Sweet Boy. What else? What else? The tie-up, the double tie-up that Zack Sabre Jr. has been doing with that leg lock, where he gets hit back by the other by the teammate and exasperates the teammate's injury, then catches them in some kind of abdominal stretch. Phenomenal. I love it. It really shows the technical prowess of Zack Sabre Jr. because he doesn't go into it in an illogical way. No. It makes sense. And if he can't do it, he doesn't do it. He doesn't not let it make sense, if that makes sense.
No, it makes sense.
The submission spots by TMDK, where TMDK got all of Team Filthy into submissions. Love that. Absolutely perfect. My last note I have here is flying teats, spearing teats, and suplexing teats. That I feel like the last part of the match. Yeah, so many teats. There was a lot of showcase at the very end of this match, showcasing Big Teats and his strength in particular. I actually, as he was starting to wind down, I was like, oh my God, Teats is going to take it again. And I got really excited. But then Tom Lawlor just kind of came out of nowhere. I was like, no. This match got my energy up again. I felt like up until this point, my energy was pretty like level. This match shot my energy up again for the rest of the show. That's all I got to say.
Weirdly for me, this next match is where my sorry. So this picture, you do have to change it because they didn't give me an updated picture. Fred Rosser is not in this match. I didn't get an updated one. It is actually Homicide replacing Fred Rosser in this match. So it's Homicide and Rocky Romero versus just like this is the match where I kind of came down and went, huh, okay. Because again, this match, I like just 5 guys, but I'm not really invested in Homicide at all. Rocky is fine. I got nothing against him, but it was just there. This match was just there for me personally.
Although it's always a joy to see Rocky in the Paradise Lock.
Yes. The spot I do have written down, though, the one I really highlighted was Homicide biting the finger of Kanemaru. And then Rocky does it too. And all I wrote was, gross. You don't know where those fingers have been.
Yeah. I thought the same thing. And it's like, no, you probably do know where those fingers have been. Wrapped around that whiskey bottle.
Yeah, but who else has touched that whiskey bottle? That's the gross part.
Was highlighted in this match in particular. Especially going into his match with Hiromu. It makes sense. This one, it was kind of just there. It didn't make me go, ooh, but it was like, it helped me ride the high from the match before.
And I don't mean this as a shot to this match, but if any match of this on this show, and not to shit on it, this would have been my piss break match if I had been watching this live.
That's fair.
Just I can pause so I was watching on demand. But that's what it would have been for me. Again, nothing against this, but just this was the one that had the least amount of interest to me. And taking Rosser out of it brought it down for me even more because it was just like, okay, Rosser is like, I love Sanada. I think he's not amazing, but Rosser is, I think, the most biggest personality out of this entire match for me. And he took him out.
Yeah, because Sanada even though he is a personality, it does come off very dry. His personality is definitely based on a lot of his silence, and it adds, but also sucks a lot of energy out of stuff. Rosser absolutely would have pumped it back up. I agree.
Yeah. End of the match, Homicide goes for the cop killer, but Sanada reverses out, gets the O'Connor roll, gets the win.
Good match. Good end.
Yeah, good match. Kind of fun match. It just wasn't my. It was kind of my low.
I liked this one.
Show. This is great. Orange Cassidy, Gabriel Kidd. This was originally supposed to be Eddie Kingston and Gabriel Kidd's spot, but Eddie Kingston did get hurt. So then Gabe has his sassy pants on tonight. That's for dang sure.
Holy shit! Did he ever?
Cassidy not coming out to his regular theme song of Jane. But comes out to the Best Friends music because New Japan does have rights to use Best Friends music. They don't have rights to Jane, which is a licensed song by AEW. They licensed that song out to use. So Best Friends music is original content, so they can use it without any repercussion. But yeah, dude, Gabe cracking orange with a huge chop that sends Cassidy to the floor. Dude, it was loud as shit. The kid in the crowd, the kid that was dressed up as Cassidy, it made me so happy.
That kid got so much attention, so much. Everyone saw that kid and loved him, except for Finlay.
Finlay hated on him. Yeah, Finlay hated on him, so he got attention. But yeah, great match from both of them. And the headbutts in the corner headbutts. He's headbutting him and then chopping him and headbutting and chopping him by Gabriel Kidd, and then the lariat and the brainbuster that he hit. Dude, absolutely. And I love the fact that you could have come into this and just had Cassidy work a regular match, but you kept up the story from AEW where you hurt his hand. And I love because you got to think how many people that are watching a New Japan Strong show are probably also an AEW fan. It's probably a high number. So the fact that they continued that story through was absolute perfection, and I love that. And the way they worked around that hand, and Gabe would keep attack the hand every now and again, and Orange would go for a move and hurt the hand, but then Gabe would take advantage of it. I loved it so much. Oh man, absolutely tremendous match. Oh, Gabriel Kidd hanging Cassidy while standing on the second rope in that front chancery. Oh, and then Gabriel tries to go for the moonsault but misses, and this is where Cassidy catches and ends up catching Cassidy coming back into that point and hits that tombstone. Ooh, looks so good. In the end, though, at the end, rebound lariat by Gabe. Again, only can get two, and he's going for another move, but Cassidy, in desperation, because his hand is so messed up, he can't hit his orange punch. He has to get a roll. He catches a roll up out of nowhere, and gets the win, dude. Again, great match.
Yeah. I don't have a lot to say because you did mention all of the spots that I had written down, but this match, I'm gonna be full disclosure on this. I am not an Orange Cassidy fan. I understand the why of how he is so over. You know, he's got that personality that people are attracted to. He's kind of got that cool swagger, that almost I don't care mentality, which people are very attracted to. I totally get it. As a fan of wrestling, though, I'm not a big fan of his. I find his look underwhelming. I find his work underwhelming, you know. But again, I totally understand why he is so over. Kidd worked hard in this match, though, and really made me kind of forget all of that. I really did feel like Cassidy stepped up in this one. And I don't know, maybe it's being in proximity of the sassy pants the Kidd's wearing that made it kind of work. But holy dang, the promo that Kidd cut before this match.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. So good. This kid's going to be going places. And that's literally this kid, he'd be going places. I can't wait to see where he ends up, but man, holy dang, did he bulk up?
Yeah,
he's been bulking, but he bulked up.
Yeah, but to the point of Cassidy, once he gets going, I used to really not care for this guy, but I find he's still got the shtick, but he doesn't. Again, it used to be he'd do the shtick for so long in a match, and I used to hate it. But he's dropped doing the shtick a lot in the match. He'll still once in a while pull up the like light kicks or like a jokingly, but he does it as it's not a majority of his match anymore. Like if you look back to the Pac match early on in AEW, I hated it so much because he did so much of that shit early on.
Yeah.
But now the way he just gets in, and once the bell hits, he kind of it's like Festus in a way. He goes from that sloth like and he immediately is starting to amp it up. He still does the hands in the pocket rolls and things like that, but he's amping it up from the beginning now instead of like being very sloth like for the first like few minutes of the match. He's getting like he gets in, and that's why I'm more of a fan of. And the character is based on Paul Rudd's character from Wet Hot American Summer. If you've ever seen that movie, that's where he got his inspiration for the character.
Yeah, I've not seen that.
Watch it; it's absolutely phenomenal. But yeah. But again, I thought these two killed it.
100%. Great match.
Yeah. Move on to a tag team match. It is Bullet Club versus LIJ, Chase Owens, Kenta versus Hiromu and Naito. Love the red vest on Chase Owens. Beautiful new vest. I love that. Kenta and Naito try to come in the start, but they're caught. Like they try to like pull some shenanigans, and Kenta and Owens end up attacking because like it was the fact that both partners from both sides came in to try to attack from behind was absolutely just so much fun. I just love that like little spot there. Hiromu, a shotgun drop kick to Owens into Kenta in the corner, and then lariat. It's a huge lariat on both. Oh, dude, so good. Yeah, dude, everything. Owens missing the G trigger, but stops the Destino, hits him with the snake eyes, and gets the jewel heist for 2. Oh, I love it when he busts out that jewel heist. He doesn't do it a lot anymore. I miss that. I miss that move. In the end, though, it's just a tornado DDT from Naito to Owens, and then he hits the Destino for the win, and LIJ pick up the win.
Nice to see a win with a Destino. When it gets hit. I miss Chase Owens also, and I also really like the addition of the red on his gear. I always feel that if you have too much black and white, it kind of drowns you out. We can see that with Clark Connors with that solo color. Same with Kanemaru. He had that kind of silvery gray color. It just kind of blinds him out. What I've always enjoyed about Chase Owens is his gear is always unique. He's always got the little bullet holes on them. He's got the little, gun holder on his thigh. Always a great entertainer to watch. Yeah, I miss seeing him. I also missed his jewel heist. However, Andre, if you're playing NJPW Strong Spirits, it's one of his regular moves that he uses quite often to finish people off. Just saying.
Well, my favorite part about this entire match was after. Because Rocky comes out, and he gets in the ring, and Naito goes into ref mode. Like he's getting ready to start a match between the two. That was absolutely the greatest spot in all of this. Tranquilo. I was just like, and he's like, tranquilo. And they announce, because he says, oh, you promised an American Junior Festival. So they announced the All-Star Junior Festival. August 19th, 9 days after my birthday, baby, in Philly at the 2300 Arena, the original home of ECW, baby. All-Star Junior Festival. Juniors from all over the world. You're going to get a bunch of American juniors this time, not just Japanese juniors. I think you're going to see juniors coming from a bunch of just Japanese companies. You're going to see juniors coming from the English promotion from over in England. You're going to see juniors from all over Canada and the US. I really hope. Let's hope there's a junior that has 3 beautiful initials from this province alone. I would love to see him go to that. But again, I don't think so. But I would be just amazing for me. SOI.
Oh.
That would be a junior to go to that. But again, that's getting my hopes up.
But could you imagine though our poor little SOI getting in the ring with Alex Zane?
That'd be amazing.
It would be, but Alex Zane would wreck his day.
Yeah, but dude, I'm absolutely excited for an All-Star Junior Festival in America.
That would be awesome.
Just the
what
amount
an
of
experience that would be for Irish, yeah.
Because the amount of different people that were on the All-Star Junior Festival, which I still haven't gotten to see because it's still paid for on New Japan World. As soon as it goes free, I will be watching it. Dude, absolutely. I can't wait because I know the amount of different people were on that show for just from Japan alone was incredible. So I can imagine what they're going to do in North America because it's going to be Japanese, English, North American, all different people from different places in the world. That excites me so much. And we move on to the semi-main event of the evening. It is a #1 contendership for the IWGP the IWGP US Championship. It is not Lance Archer versus Juice Robinson. Juice Robinson was suspended, and he was replaced with Fred Rosser, who comes out covered in fucking tape, like from his beat up. Archer beating up Young Lions during his entrance. And he says the last time they wrestled was in 2009 in Florida Championship Wrestling when they were both in developmental. So in WWE Developmental and Florida Championship Wrestling. Archer then challenges Rosser to make it a Philly street fight, and he tosses him a kendo stick. But Rosser attacks Archer. But then Archer fights back and then just beating Rosser, splashing in the corner. But this match was very much a walk and brawl, beat the crap out of each other with weapons kind of match, in my opinion, right?
Yeah, pretty much. It was just a beatdown with Juice getting involved at the end.
Yeah, Juice Robinson does interfere at the end, beating up, hits the left hand of God with the quarters to Rosser, and Archer just says, fuck it, gets in there, hits a lariat, gets the win. He doesn't care. He'll take the win however he can get it, because it's just, and Archer says in a promo after, he's going to run through this whole tournament. He then challenges Kenny Omega, says he's coming for his ass at Forbidden Door. So this is they've never blatantly said when the title shot's going to happen, but in my opinion, it's setting up for Forbidden Door because the finals are at Dominion, which is 3 weeks before Forbidden Door. So again, it lines up perfectly for Forbidden Door to be the IWGP Championship match that Will Ospreay is going to get. I think Ospreay beats Tana in May, and then he beats Archer in June, and you get the rematch at Forbidden Door.
We'll see what happens when the Forbidden Door matches really start getting announced.
and then they'll be here a week and a half later. They'll be in Edmonton. Me and Mel are going to be sitting there watching some Dynamite.
Yes, hopefully seeing some NJPW guys. The only thing I wanted to note about this is Archer cut his hair, and I'm kind of sad about it.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed about that. I missed I missed the Murder Hawk.
I do too. But it is very Mafia Bella, so I'm not going to be too mad about it. But I did like the length on him a little bit better, though. I mean, speaking from someone who sits on their hair when they sit down now, after a while it gets annoying.
Yeah. So we move on to the main events of the evening. It was originally supposed to be a 6-man tag featuring Hiroshi Tanahashi teaming with Lio Rush and Tomohiro Ishii against TJP and Aussie Open of the United Empire. But Hiroshi Tanahashi getting hurt on the Saturday night show. I read the reports yesterday. He hurt his ribs, so he was removed from this match. So they took TJP out, which I was just like, oh. So they got no TJP on this entire weekend. I was a little disappointed. I was looking forward to seeing TJP work this show.
That's disappointing for sure. But that being said, there's been too many organizations happening, which I will speak on Friday on Ladies Wrestling Showcase about people working with injuries that maybe shouldn't be working with injuries.
On the release today.
Yes, today. Sorry, we're recording on Thursday. This will be released on the Friday. This match was fun. I really, really did enjoy this match. I'm not going to lie, though, holy hot diggity. Lio Rush really felt a little out of his element in this one, but kept up so well, especially with the flight of Fletcher.
Yeah, I think because Fletcher isn't as big as Davis. He's tall, but he's not that size of Davis. I think it gave me that ability so that you had your speed guys and your power guys. So it didn't feel as awkward in this match as if it would have been Fletcher would have been a full-on, a bigger heavyweight guy. He's I look at Fletcher as a cusp guy. He's kind of at that limit of he could be a junior if you wanted him to, or he can be in the heavyweights. That's the way I look at Fletcher. So him and Lio Rush's pairing didn't bother me. It did this pairing didn't bother me because of that. But Rush, man, he looks so good in it. But Davis, dude, when Davis took down Ishii early with that shoulder block, that doesn't happen. Ishii usually takes forever for him to get knocked down with the shoulder block. Davis dropped him so early with it. It was just showing that domination and that power of Davis. I love this goddamn team so goddamn much.
This was a great match and a great main event, especially considering this wasn't what we were supposed to have originally. They ended up pulling it off so well. So good.
Yeah. Like just the brain busters, the lariats, just there's so much. This match was really hard to talk about all the moves because it moves so dang quickly with it also being so impactful. Leo Rush with his suicide dives and his acai moonsaults. Just Fletcher, the speed on this kid is absolutely tremendous. He's 22 years old. He has so much in front of him. He's going to be the next Will Ospreay. It's 100. I guarantee he's going to be the next Will Ospreay. Like, this kid is so good. Dude, he is so good. This match was amazing. End of it, though, Fletcher hits the tombstone onto Ishii, and Davis gets the pile driver on Leo, and that looked like he killed Leo with that pile driver, man. Like, look at him murder him. They hit the sandwich lariats to Leo, hit Coriolis, get the Aussie Open retain these strong openweight tag team championships. After the match,
we thought that wouldn't happen.
Again, this is another match where I saw it, and when they edited it, and I'm like, okay, yeah, Aussie Open's not dropping the belts because originally they weren't supposed to defend the titles on the show. I'm like, they're not dropping the belts on their first defense. It's not happening. Fletcher gets the mic after the match. He says Philly rocks. They were here a year ago, and it was the first time in that build. It was the first time in Philly a year ago. It was his first time. And they were this up-and-coming team, but they have returned here as the best tag team in the world. And he says, eat your heart out, FTR, before the crowd can make a chant or anything. And he goes, he is Kyle Fletcher. I'm Kyle Fletcher. That is Mark Davis. We are Aussie Open. And you know it, baby. We run the world.
What a way to end this show and tour.
Fletcher, man, this kid is amazing.
And that being said, man, what a freaking weekend! Like, the East Coast had a hell of a show.
Yeah, I wish I lived down there. I really, really do. I really, really do. Yeah. So we are going to get out of here, ladies and gentlemen. So please, please like, subscribe, and comment down below because we want to hear from all of you. We love hearing from you guys. Please, 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 please. You can check us out on Andre Melball Wrestling Talk on YouTube, Facebook, wherever you can find us, youtube.com/Andre Melball Wrestling Talk. You might be watching us there, or you might be watching us on Backbreaker Video, where you can see all some great content from ourselves, from our good buddy Mike the Ref. Where the heck is that? There he's here, Mike the Ref. youtube.com/@Backbreaker_gaming, youtube.com/@Backbreaker Video, where you might be watching us, and twitch.tv/Mike the Ref. Big heads up, tomorrow, myself, I'll be teaming up to what we're hoping to be a new content going forward with my boy, humanoid freak Andreas. We're going to be talking about the Once and Always Power Rangers special right here on Backbreaker Video live stream on the YouTube channel, and also live stream on his YouTube channel. And we're going to have a special guest with us. It's my co-host right here, Melball. We're going to talk Power Rangers, baby. I cannot wait. We're going to talk a Once and Always special. We're going to talk about our love for the original Power Rangers, mine and Andreas' love for the current Power Rangers. We're going to talk Power Rangers, and I'm super excited for that. So that'll be tomorrow on Backbreaker Video.
It's morphin' time. That's awesome. That's awesome. And my friend, if they are wanting to follow you on social media, where are they going to find you?
Follow me on Twitter @ThatCanadaGuy, also on Hive and Mastodon @ThatCanadaGuy, Instagram @ThatCanada. You can find me on the Andre Melball Wrestling Talk Facebook page. You can reach out to me there if you don't want to reach out to me on social media, or down below in the comments, reach out to me there.
And if you're wanting to follow Melball on social media, you can follow her at Collins Melball on Twitter and Melball Collins on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and what was the last one? Mastodon. And you can also find me on our good friend Astrid Pizarro's YouTube channel. She is also putting out amazing content like Making an Impact, Astrid Asks, but you can find a Melball on there on the Ladies Wrestling Showcase. We run every other Friday, so we are going to be going live today at 5 p.m. Eastern, where we are going to be talking about Trish Stratus and her turn on Becky Lynch and her return to WWE. We're going to be talking about Mercedes Moné and her potential future in Japan. It's going to be awesome. You don't want to miss out on that. Catch a beautiful natural there. She's always putting out content every single week. You don't want to miss that. And that, my friend, do we have anything else that we want to say to the beautiful people?
I just want to say thank you for all the great support you've given us. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment on the below. We want to hear from you. Please, 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 please. We want to hear from you, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you so much for tuning in.
Awesome. And that being said, I am your Melball. Over there is Andre. We will see you next time. Adios.